Well, good morning, friends. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. Well, actually feeling okay today. An average January day weather-wise. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick tracking kind of just normal weather today. But that's going to change later this week, right, Thomas?
I'd call this okay weather today. And yeah, big weather changes later on in the week, but we'll cross that bridge a little bit later or leave that as a tease for a future weather hit. As for right here, right now, the only fog that we're seeing is way up in the mountains. You literally have to go up and into the clouds to see any kind of fog. So that's the Schweitzer camera that you see behind me here. But temperatures are a-okay for this Tuesday morning, kind of hovering on either side of the 30-degree mark, from 21, the cool spot in Moses Lake, up to about 31 in Coeur d'Alene, even 32 degrees in Sandpoint early on this morning. So this is a very typical January day for us. It's just going to be cloudy to mostly cloudy. A few peaks of sun would be a nice bonus for today. But our high temperature is still right on their averages in the mid-30s for the afternoon.
Happening today, Coeur d'Alene Public Schools is hosting an open house about 2 school levies. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez live in Coeur d'Alene right now. Nicole, what's expected to happen at these open houses? Good morning.
Tim, good morning. So right now we know that the Coeur d'Alene Public School District is hosting these open houses. The one happening tonight is going to be right here at the Ramsey Magnet School of Science. It's happening at 6 o'clock tonight. It's going to be a chance for residents to come in and ask questions about the 2 different levies that are going to be on the ballot on March 14th in less than 2 months. Last year, the district asked for an 8-year levy, giving schools $10 million each year. Voters declined that levy, but the vote was extremely close. So this year, the district scaled back what they're asking for. This year's safety and maintenance levy would give the district $5 million every year for just 5 years. That's less money per year for half the amount of time. That levy would fund school repairs like plumbing, roofs, security measures, and more. And Scott Mabin with the Coeur d'Alene Public School District says the safety and maintenance levy would help the district start to catch up.
It's really to address a massive backlog of maintenance issues. We're just not funded through the state to take care of that to the extent that we need to. And that backlog has ballooned. It will be over $100 million in a few years.
The other levy on the ballot is the supplemental levy. That one would replace the current supplemental levy that is expiring at the end of the school year. The district says this levy funds a quarter of their yearly operations. That money would go to employee salaries, student transportation, classroom supplies, and more. Voters have continued this supplemental levy every 2 years, but this year the district is asking to increase it from $20 million a year to $25 million a year, and they're asking the public to make it more permanent than just every 2 years. Property taxes are ultimately what fund these levies, and Scott Mabin with the school district says even if both of these levies end up passing and they need over 50%, they need a 55% majority to make that happen for these levies. Even if they do both pass, though, the tax rate this year would be less than last year's. In Coeur d'Alene, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Well, this morning, detectives are still looking for more information about a deadly crash from over the weekend. It happened last Friday around midnight on the Sprague on-ramp to westbound I-90. One motorcyclist was killed in this crash. The victim's identity, though, still has not been released. Washington State Patrol says the motorcyclist lost control of the motorcycle, was thrown off the bike, and then hit by at least one passing car. And law enforcement says that car did not stop.
Especially when the vehicle that was involved leaves the scene, we either want to reach out to that person, which they may or may not have known that they've been involved in something like this, or we want to reach out to anyone that may have witnessed this that doesn't know how to, reach out, or doesn't know necessarily how involved that this collision is. So we typically just want to reach out to as many people as possible. So maybe someone heard something from their friend, or might have some information that could be helpful to this case.
Now, it's also possible that the victim was hit by more than one car. So if you know or saw anything, please contact WSP at the number there on your screen.
And 3 people are in the hospital recovering this morning after a series of violent assaults on Sunday. Spokane police say officers responded to a stabbing near West Main in Lincoln on Sunday around 4 p.m. They arrested and charged a suspect with 2 counts of first-degree assault. No less than 2 hours later, another stabbing happened near West Pacific and State Street. Police also arrested and charged that suspect with first-degree assault. Finally, around 7 p.m., a drive-by shooting happened near West 4th and Maple. One victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. At this hour, no suspect in the shooting has been found. Anyone with information should call SPD at crime check number. It's there on your screen.
It is 7:06 right now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. Washington State Attorney General's office recovered $9 million that was stolen. The money was stolen during the pandemic from the Employment Security Department. It was then deposited into Bank of America. A judge ordered the bank to return the money. Now, using forfeiture laws, the AG's office says it has recovered close to $34 million. On Friday, the suspect in the 2021 murder of a Spokane mother pled guilty. Joshua Phillips is accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend and stabbing her 5-year-old daughter, who survived the attack. His sentencing is for February 3rd. He could face up to 27 years in prison. Well, Boeing will be arraigned on a criminal charge this Thursday in a Texas courtroom. This all stems from the crashes of 2 737 MAX jets that killed 346 people. Last week, a judge rescinded Boeing's immunity in the crashes because the victims' families were not part of the process. Well, today, Washington state lawmakers will hold their first public committee hearing on creating a new SHIELD law. It would protect people coming to Washington for reproductive health care and prohibit out-of-state investigators and arrests related to abortion and reproductive care services. The law will also protect healthcare service providers from harassment. And a sharp drop for the Gonzaga men's basketball team in the latest AP poll. The Zags plummeted 8 spots to number 14. The drop follows the Zags' loss at home last week to Loyola Marymount. The Zags play just one game this week, and that's a matchup on the road at Portland on Saturday. And that's a look at your morning rush.
We are learning new details about the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students. Brian Koberger interviewed with the Pullman Police Department for a research assistant position. The job would look at data from the police department and propose changes if needed. He was one of 4 candidates for the job. Through a public records request to get the documents, we learned the suspect interviewed online with the Pullman police chief in April of 2022. It's unclear if he was offered the job or even got the job. The suspect is set to appear in court again on June 26 for his preliminary hearing.
And weather-wise, we have quiet weather across the northwest as a result of a high pressure that's parked to our south. So the only thing that we're seeing even on Doppler radar is some very light rain showers way out west towards northwestern Washington and the very Washington coast. So today will be fine, and that will be the case through Thursday, but snow will cap off this week. So Friday and Saturday, we see that snowfall in the forecast, and yes, the temperatures will drop pretty significantly on the backside of that storm system. High of only 20 for this Sunday, as that will usher in the Arctic air and that new weather pattern for next week. So brace yourselves for some more cold weather, as our temperatures will be about 15 degrees below average.